healthcare professional where they live for diagnosis and treatment of disease.
And now, the superstar of alternative health and purveyor of medical truth, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Hello and welcome to Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Dr. Joel Wallach, your host, a veterinarian and physician. And I'm here for kids and baby boomers and seniors who don't want to die at 75.5 like their parents and grandparents. I'm here for kids and baby boomers and seniors who don't want to be sick and miserable for the last 15 to 20 years of their life like their parents and grandparents. We do have lines open. Give us a call toll-free, 1-888-379-2552. Again, that's toll-free, 1-888-379-2552. And a couple of pieces of breaking news. I don't know, maybe 3-4 days ago, President Joe Biden came out and said, well, there's nothing we can do to slow down this spiking of this terrible pandemic virus we've got now. We're looking at least 6 months or more of bad stuff. Okay, I'm saying, why would he say that? Well, then 2 days later, yesterday, Merck came out, one of the leaders in the manufacturers of vaccines came out and said they're pulling their two vaccines that they spent, I don't know, multi-millions, maybe billions of dollars on developing. They were just ready for release, and they said they don't cause any damage or harm to anybody, but they don't give any immunity. Now, that's important because when people have asked me, and many people remember, people have asked me many times on the radio, well, Doc, should I take the vaccinations? And I said, well, you know, they're doing so much research on, because so many people are skeptical about the safety vaccinations, the odds are the vaccination is not going to kill you. So if you want to take a vaccination, take the vaccination. But the results are going to be highly variable. In kids, you know, like the Jonas Salk polio vaccine, I mean, that was a big one. That just said, boy, vaccines are good. It eliminated polio. Well, when you look at kids under the age of 5, when they got the pandemic virus here in the last year, they got common cold-like symptoms for 2 or 3 days. Their temperature goes up from 98.6 to 99, became classed as a fever, and in 2 or 3 days they're perfectly normal, and they have antibodies against the pandemic virus. But when a 53-year-old or 43-year-old or 33-year-old or 63-year-old or 73-year-old get the pandemic virus, it's big trouble. They go into the hospital for a month or 2 or 3. They're on ventilators. Many will get permanent damage if they survive, and many will die. So what's the difference between a 73-year-old, a 63-year-old, a 53-year-old, and a 3-year-old? Well, the 3-year-old has only been eating gluten for a couple of years. The 63-year-old has been eating gluten for 62 years. The 73-year-old has been eating gluten for 72 years. The 83-year-old has been eating gluten for 82 years. Okay? And so what's going on there? Well, gluten destroys your intestinal lining, and there's 4 pieces to getting immunity. Number 1, of course, vaccines will help. Vaccines don't kill viruses or bacteria or fungus or yeast, but they do alert your body to bad DNA, RNA, proteins, and amino acids and things. So when the bug hits you, your body says, there's the bad guy. Number 2, you have to be able to absorb nutrients. If you're eating gluten, the gluten will destroy the lining of your intestines. It's a drip, drip, drip thing over time. It's not an all or nothing, light switch on, light switch off. But a period of years, you'll lose 95 to 98% of your absorptive surface. Instead of your small intestines look like a shag rug, it looks like a plastic tube. Can't absorb much. Secondly, how many nutrients you're taking. Well, my doctor said I can get everything I need just by eating well. Well, your doctor should go to jail for being a serial killer. Okay? You cannot get everything you need by just eating well, because plants only need 3 commercial fertilizers, only have 3. You need 60 minerals, okay? And then, so, absorption, how many nutrients you're getting, and number 3, how badly damaged or interrupted is your bone marrow, because that's where your white blood cells, your T cells are being formed, and your other white blood cells that go kill and eat viruses and bacteria and fungus and yeast, make stem cells, make antibodies that go kill viruses, bacteria, and yeast, and also make red blood cells and platelets. You know people who have to go in monthly to get a B12 shot, an iron shot, because they're chronically anemic and bleeding under the skin. And then, after a while, doctor says, you know, we got to give you a transfusion every couple of months because you're bleeding. We need to give you some platelets from somebody else. And then, after another couple of months or a year or so, you know, we better give you a bone marrow transplant. Well, that's because people have been eating gluten. They don't have any nutrition going to their bone marrow. So if you got those 3 things against you, like somebody who's 40, 50, 60 years old, you're not going to get much of a result from the vaccination. And that's why they're having such a struggle. And all these vaccination companies are coming out and saying, you know, we're working on manufacturing these drugs that will help support people when they get the virus and and maybe help their immune system kill the virus and that kind of stuff, rather than making a big deal out of the vaccinations. I've been saying that, and you've heard me say that to people over and over and over, and it's come true. And so that's why Biden said we're not going to be able to do anything to stop this COVID thing. 2 days before Merck came out and said they're pulling the vaccines because they don't hurt anybody, but they don't give adequate protection. Well, there you go. So when you look at Thailand, 67 million people, and the UK, 67 million people, the UK has 3,669,000 infections and 98,000, almost 100,000 dead. Thailand has 13,000 infections and 75 dead. Big difference, rice and wheat. Okay, let's look at Florida versus Taiwan, rice versus wheat. Florida has black people, Native Americans, Latinos, about 40%, all of whom eat wheat. And Florida has 1.6 million infections and almost 26,000 dead. Taiwan, with the same population, has 890 infections and 7 dead. What's the difference there? Wheat versus rice. Texas has 2.2 million infections and 35,000 dead. 29 million people, Texas, versus 96,000 people in Vietnam. No, 96 million in Vietnam, and 29 million in Texas, 3 times the Texas number. They have 1,500 infections and 35 dead versus 2.2 million infections and 35,000 dead. Wheat versus rice. Back after these messages.
You're listening to Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network with your host, Dr. Joel Wallach. If you'd like to talk to Dr. Wallach, call the priority line at 831-685-1080, toll free 888-379-2552.
Many believe that all life began in the Earth's oceans. We do know that the oceans and seas are still abundant with life and life-sustaining nutrients. Many cultures have long believed in the life-giving properties of plants and sea life harvested from the oceans. Youngevity's Ocean's Gold is a proprietary blend of seaweeds, algae, mosses, kelp, sea cucumbers, and sea minerals, as well as coenzyme Q10, calcium, and iron, all designed to help support healthy thyroid function, regular heartbeat, normal weight, mood stabilization, and hormone levels. Take advantage of life-sustaining nutrients from the Earth's oceans with Youngevity's Ocean's Gold. If you'd like to learn more about nutritional supplementation, call your local Youngevity associate, and don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
In recent years, several studies have discovered the healthy benefits of drinking coffee. Youngevity has now taken it a step further with an entire product line of healthy coffees from Youngevity's JavaFit selection of top-shelf gourmet coffees. All JavaFit coffees are made from 100% premium, hand-selected Arabica coffee beans grown in the finest regions of Latin America. All are carefully roasted, creating a delicious, rich, full-bodied flavor. For an extra boost, try JavaFit's Energy Extreme 62, a proprietary blend of nutrients including Cambogia, green tea extract, an extra shot of caffeine, and niacin, designed to support metabolism and enhance physical performance. Available in single cup or single pot packs. Contact your local Youngevity distributor to get Jovolution coffees. And don't forget to ask about the home-based business opportunity.
We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Youngevity 95 Crusade. We do have lines open. Give us a call toll free, 1-888-379-2552. Again, that's toll free, 1-888-379-2552. And I want to compare Hawaii, okay, our Polynesian state. And then Okinawa, one of the 5 blue zones, was actually on the cover 2005 cover article in the National Geographic. I was saying another magazine, but it was a National Geographic. Both of them have about 1.4 million people. Okinawa has 5,700 infections and 84 dead. Hawaii has 25,000 infections and 342 dead. The difference is Okinawa, they live on seaweed and rice and sweet potatoes, and the 3 sisters, again, maize, beans, and squash. And Hawaii, they've been kind of westernized a lot. They eat a lot of stuff that they shouldn't be eating, like whatever. It's still very good compared to everybody else. And then let's look at one more here. Let's look at, let's say Japan versus Mexico. Both have about 127 million people. Mexico has 1.8 million infections, 149,000, almost 150,000 dead. Japan has 364,000 people, about one-fifth the number of infections, and 5,000 dead. Okay, 40 times less. Okay, in deaths. Okay, rice versus wheat. Okay, now I urge you to get a hold of the book and the CD, Hell's Kitchen. Get a hold of the book, Black Gene Lies, and the CD. Okay. I want you also to get a hold of the book and the CD, Immortality, and learn what the long-lived peoples do. You can go to www.drjwallach.com. What it is they do to add 25 to 50 healthier years to their life. If you just keep doing what you're doing, the odds are you're not going to make it. Okay? You have to be proactive and do some good things here, especially in these times of this pandemic virus. Take your 90 essential nutrients. You cannot get what you need from your food. Any doctor who tells you can get everything you need just by eating well, flee, because their advice will kill you. Okay, Doug, what pearls of wisdom do you have for us?
Well, I saw this one, and it was a little disheartening to me because I'm not a big fan of this particular food. But headline reads, drink beet juice to reap amazing health benefits. They say this root crop is a powerful powerhouse of nutrients, including calcium, iron, zinc, as well as vitamins A and C. Say, however, cooking beets destroys all these nutrients, so to enjoy beets, you need to eat them raw or drink the juice. And they say drinking beet juice gets all kinds of health benefits, relieves sore muscles. Studies have shown the effect can be traced to nitrates in the beets. The stomach turns this into nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels for better circulation. Relieves headaches for the same reason. The nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels leading to the brain. Also cleanses your liver, detoxes and removes toxins from your body, mostly from the liver. They say beets can also fight oxidative stress, as it has antioxidants in the beets that can actually get rid of the free radicals out of your body. Beet juice also helps keep your brain young. Studies of older adults have shown that eating a high nitrate diet increases blood flow to the white matter of their brains, and beet juice supports heart health. Say a healthy heart drink because it has folate and betaine, and a combo reduces a homocystine in your blood. Homocystine is linked to early development of heart disease. So there you go, beets to win. I'm going to have to get over my dislike of those, I guess.
Well, no, it's easy because what makes BTT Beyond Tangerine 2.0 kind of interesting is that it has 115 extracts of fruits and vegetables added to the 90 essential nutrients. It has over 220 nutrients in BTT 2.0. And guess what one of them is? Beet juice. Okay, so you're taking your BTT 2.0, you're getting the benefit of beet juice as well as 114 other fruits and vegetables. And so that's why we call it the big hammer in our toolbox. And again, I urge you to get a hold of the book and the CD, Hell's Kitchen. It goes back to why we're having all these pandemics. Dr. Milano and I predicted all this back in 2003 and 2005 when the CD and the book came out. You'll add 25 to 50 healthy years of your life if you take your 90 essential nutrients and get that book and CD and do all the good things and avoid all the bad things. Back after these messages.
You're listening to Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network with your host, Dr. Joel Wallach. If you'd like to talk to Dr. Wallach, call the toll-free line, 888-379-2552. On the priority line, 831-685-1080. Imagine a rich, decadent chocolate that's actually good for you. Youngevity's Triple Treat chocolate is just that, an antioxidant-rich dark chocolate complete with probiotics to aid in proper digestion. This all-natural product contains no preservatives, and for those with dietary restrictions, it's gluten-free, dairy-free, glycemic-friendly, and kosher certified. Not only does Triple Treat dark chocolate taste fantastic, it contains super antioxidant blueberries to absorb free radicals with an ORAC value of 16,936 per piece. Triple Treat chocolate also contains a proprietary blend of probiotics with over 500 million live healthy bacteria per 8 grams at the time of manufacture, with 80% reaching the intestines, which is much more than most live culture yogurts. If you'd like to learn more about nutritional supplementation, call your local Youngevity associate, and don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
If weight loss is your goal, try Youngevity's Slender FX Keto Caramel Weight Management Bars and Shake. Designed to enhance any low-carbohydrate or low-glycemic diet by supplying the energizing and filling protein dieters need without unhealthy excess carbs, a keto diet known for its low-carb intake, pushing the body to produce ketones from fat. Used as energy, a state known as ketosis, by using fat, not carbohydrates, as fuel in this metabolic state. A keto diet supports and promotes healthy weight management. For optimal health, with this system, you should be able to lose 1 to 2 pounds each day. So, what are you waiting for? Start helping people today with your own home-based business.
If your doctor is telling you that you can get all the nutrients you need to stay healthy, well, that's just wrong. Dr. Joel Wallach has identified 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs to thrive. Crops only need 3 nutrients to thrive, so where does your doctor think the other 87 nutrients come from? They don't. So if you're not supplementing, you're starving your body. Youngevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine will get you a long way down the road to getting those 90 essential nutrients. Beyond Tangy Tangerine contains plant-derived minerals combined with vitamins, amino acids, and other beneficial nutrients. Beyond Tangy Tangerine is a balanced and complete daily supplement. So if you want to give your body the nutrients it needs, order Beyond Tangy Tangerine today. Contact your local Youngevity associate to order this product, and don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Youngevity 95 Crusade. We do have lines open. Give us a call toll free, 1-888-379-2552. Again, that's toll free, 1-888-379-2552. And to get my books and CDs and DVDs, and one of the new ones, of course, is the Red Warning Light by pharmacist Keith Abel and myself. And that red warning light, it goes into 5 or 6 or 8 of the pre-existing conditions which tell you have severe nutritional deficiency diseases, and you are a big, big risk for getting the pandemic virus and dying, okay? And so get a hold of that Red Warning Light CD. It will blow your mind. Of course, it goes along and supports the book and the CD, Hell's Kitchen, goes along and supports the book and the CD, Black Gene Lies, and goes along and supports the book and the CD, Immortality. Charmaine, are you there?
I'm here, yes.
Okay. Are you seeing much in your newspapers and radios and people running up and down the street screaming about Merck pulling the vaccination for the pandemic virus?
No, but I heard about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Suddenly now, everybody's kind of silent about that. I've been watching TV all morning here trying to see it. Nobody's saying anything. You have to go to the Internet, ask Siri, or go to the internet. And of course, it has the big story is the fact that Merck pulled both of their vaccines right at the time they were supposed to release them, and that's why President Biden 2 or 3 days ago came out and said, we have no way of stopping the spiking of this pandemic virus. You're going to have to suffer through this over the next 6 months or so. And that's because Merck pulled it. And all these other vaccine, there's like 4 other pharmaceutical companies that are working on vaccines, but they've changed their lingo to, we're now working on pharmaceuticals to help attack the virus directly. Okay. And so what do you think about that change in plan here, Charmaine?
Well, I think it's much safer to take stuff that we got, like vitamin D3 and vitamin C and zinc and killer biotic. I mean, that's a much safer way to deal with it and not get it. And if you do get it, it won't bother you that bad.
Yeah, and take the 90s so your immune system, your bone marrow is working. And stay away. What do you have to stay away from? What part of the diet do you have to stay away from so your villi will grow back so you can absorb stuff?
No wheat, barley, rye, or oats.
Well, what's the stuff in wheat, barley, rye, and oats that kills you?
Gluten.
Are there any such things as gluten-free oats?
No, and in my case, I can't even have corn. It makes me just as sick as gluten does, corn, because it's all GMO. I can't have GMO food. It makes me deathly ill.
Oh, my gosh, okay. Well,
I found that out the hard way.
Well, I promise you I won't bring any to the house.
No. Well, there's. I don't know if there's even anything, because they've all cross-pollinated with the GMO, so there's probably no natural corn anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing is, of course, when you look at these long-lived countries, the ones that do the best with the pandemic virus, they're all rice-eating countries, okay? When you look at the Ojibwe Indians in Minnesota, they have 360,000 people in their tribe. They have 27 infections and 0 deaths. You look at the Navajo Nation in Arizona, have about the same population, about 340,000 people. They have 24,000 infections and 838 deaths. 838 deaths are more than 0, and 24,000 infections are more than 27. And so it's because the Navajos live on wheat, deep-fried bread called bannock, and the Ojibways have been eating rice and sweet potatoes for 400 years. I'm going with the Ojibways. Back after these messages.
You're listening to Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network with your host, Dr. Joel Wallach. If you'd like to talk to Dr. Wallach, call us toll-free, 888-379-2552, or the priority line at 831-685-1080. Listen to physician and veterinarian Dr. Joel Wallach help many people on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie talk radio program. You've also heard hundreds of people tell how.
If you're looking for a quality multivitamin and mineral product, grab yourself Longevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine, a blend of plant-derived minerals combined with vitamins, amino acids, and other beneficial nutrients. This all-natural product contains no starch, wheat, or yeast, with no artificial sweeteners or preservatives, and it's glycemic friendly. Each scoop of the NutriCrystals contain equal amounts of all the nutrients. It starts out as a liquid, then is freeze-dried to ensure each scoop has the same nutrients as the last scoop. So if you want to get your hands on a quality nutritional supplement designed to give the body the raw materials it needs to rebuild, Longevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine is available in 1-pound canisters and also in 30-count on-the-go stick packs. Contact your local Longevity associate and get this great multivitamin and mineral product, and don't forget to ask about the home-based business opportunity.
In 1901, a woman by the name of Annie Taylor climbed into a barrel so that she could ride that barrel over Niagara Falls, the first person to do so. The reason for her crazy endeavor? She was struggling to make ends meet, and she was hoping for fame and financial security. It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage, a faith and family mortgage team that tries to improve your financial outlook without having to ship you over a 170-foot waterfall. Our mortgage team happens to be an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions within its own walls. There's no middleman. This advantage often allows us to get you a better rate, which can save you monthly and lifelong money through a refinance, or help you with a cash-out refinance, cashing out some of your home's equity to use for life. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1335. RAC NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
If you're looking for a quality multivitamin and mineral product, grab yourself Youngevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine, a blend of plant-derived minerals combined with vitamins, amino acids, and other beneficial nutrients. This all-natural product contains no starch, wheat, or yeast, with no artificial sweeteners or preservatives, and it's glycemic friendly. Each scoop of the NutriCrystals contain equal amounts of all the nutrients. It starts out as a liquid, then is freeze-dried to ensure each scoop has the same nutrients as the last scoop. So if you want to get your hands on a quality nutritional supplement designed to give the body the raw materials it needs to rebuild, Youngevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine is available in 1-pound canisters and also in 30-count on-the-go stick packs. Contact your local Youngevity associate and get this great multivitamin and mineral product, and don't forget to ask about the home-based business opportunity.
We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Youngevity 95 Crusade. We do have lines open. Give us a call toll-free, 1-888-379-2552. Again, that's toll-free, 1-888-379-2552. And people always say, well, Wallach, you talk about all these rice-eating countries that do very well when it comes to longevity and protecting themselves against the pandemic virus. But they also eat a lot of seaweed and stuff like that. Where do we get that stuff? Well, I take 3 twice a day of our Fucoid Z, which is an extract of sea algae and plankton and all kinds of weird stuff out of the ocean, contain all the trace minerals in the ocean. And then I also take our Ocean's Gold. Well, isn't that for thyroid issues? Yeah, but it's made from, again, algae that contains all the sea minerals in it. And so I take 3 of those twice a day also. So I'm getting sea minerals as if I am living in Okinawa with the Okinawans, who have one of the best records, of the 5 blue zone communities. Okay, remember, they have 1.4 million people, and they have 5,000 infections, only 84 dead. So I'm going with the Okinawans, I'm going with the Hawaiians, I'm going with the Ojibwe Indians. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
All right, let's head to California. And Caesar, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Caesar, you're on the air. How can we help you?
Yeah, Doc, how are you? I'm 43 years old. I'm 165 pounds, 5'9". I'm on the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0, the Ultimate Daily, and the Ultimate Enzymes. I've been having a little issue with some bloating in my stomach and a little pain. Like, I've been having it for about 2.5 months. Like, I feel like I'm always full. I don't know if it's a leaky gut. Maybe I need to do something else.
Okay, stop. Now, you say you have leaky gut?
I think that's what it is because of what I feel. It gets swollen and it hurts.
Okay, stop. Do you have any skin issues, any eczema, dermatitis, or psoriasis?
No.
Okay, do you have any ringing in your ears, any tinnitus, like, a tone noise?
No.
Okay, do you have any vertigo or dizziness or balance issues?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, we got... I believe you have osteoporosis of the skull, maybe squeezing your 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, which causes gastroparesis, which causes bloating and belly pain and all that kind of stuff. But also, let me ask you a question. Are you taking our pink Himalayan salt?
Yes, I am. Yes, I just started taking it a few months ago, yes.
Okay, you just started taking it. Okay, Shar?
Yes.
What does Caesar have to do to make sure he's absorbing all these nutrients?
Well, he's got to be on a gluten-free diet. No wheat, barley, rye, or oats, for sure. And no fried foods, no oils of any kind, and no burnt animal fat. Very important.
Yeah, you can't cheat. You can't. It's kind of like putting wax in your car and making the car look beautiful and putting dirt from Texas in your car instead of oil, because there's probably going to be some oil in that dirt from Texas because it's dirt from Texas, okay? you have to get rid of the bad foods and do everything right, and then the 99% you're doing right will work. But that only works when you're getting rid of the bad stuff so you can maximize absorption, and that will protect your immune system. That will help you for all kinds of things. But what else should he add to his program for his digestive issues?
I don't know if he said he was, but he needs to be taking enzymes before he eats a meal.
Yeah, the ultimate enzyme, you're right. You get an A+ here. He needs to be taking the ultimate enzyme. Take, say, 2 of those, say, 5-10 minutes for each meal, a couple ounces of water. And what would you add to his program to make sure his skull is okay and not squeezing the 10th cranial nerve?
Oh, well, he needs to take some MSM along with, glucogel and fucoid Z and stuff.
Yeah, throw those in, and then call us in 2 weeks and let us know how it's going, Caesar, because this sort of stuff turns around very quickly, but don't forget those ultimate enzymes. Take 2 of those, say, 5-10 minutes for each meal, and stay away from the bad stuff, and call us in 2 weeks. You have things that a lot of people have, and they will be looking forward to hearing your testimony back after these messages. And
that does open a line. If you'd like to get in and talk to Dr. Wallach today, call us toll-free, 888-379-2552. On the priority line, 831-685-1080. Lines open.
Hi, registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs here. I've been studying healthy bodies for 35 years, and what I've got to tell you may shock and surprise you, but if you listen up, it may change your life. The skin, the body's primary protective structure, is a major target of environmental assault. While the most obvious health impacts come from the sun and include superficial skin damage, accelerated aging, and cancer, equally significant causes of environmentally induced disease include air pollutants that can penetrate through to the internal milieu of the body as easily as they can enter through the respiratory tract. Perhaps the most effective strategies for protecting the body's outside and inside is the use of topical nutrition. One of the most protective of these nutrients is an antioxidant substance called alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA, a type of cellular rust protector scientists call an antioxidant. ALA supports the skin's defense by delivering sun protection benefits as well as defending against environmental toxins. It is, however, quite unstable, both in formulations and on the skin. ALA should be used in combination with other nutrients, particularly vitamin C and vitamin E. And ALA is not only protective for the body's exterior, it offers the same protection for the body's interior cells. While alpha-lipoic acid is found in small amounts in foods, particularly organ meat as well as spinach, broccoli, yams, yeast, and tomatoes, the best way to make sure you're getting an adequate daily dose is via dietary supplements. Pharmacist Ben here, urging you to go to kscohealth.com to order Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, and other nutritional supplements that I personally use and recommend. You can purchase these premium quality products at wholesale prices online at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com. I'm a pharmacist that believes that staying healthy and strong is not only about medicine, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do its work. Go to kscohealth.com. Make sure you check out the cool videos, too, at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com.
We're dead. Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Longevity 95 Crusade. We do have lines open. Give us a call toll-free, 1-888-379-2552. Again, that's toll-free, 1-888-379-2552. And don't forget, Longevity has a great hand sanitizer, which I use like 6 times a day, or colloidal silver. I put 2 droppers full in my mouth, 1 dropper full on the left side, 1 dropper full on the right side. I gargle with it and then swallow it half hour before each meal, half hour before bed. It's the best antibiotic out there against everything. It was around for 4,000 years before penicillin came along, colloidal silver. And then don't forget, wear your mask, do your distancing, but take your 90 essential nutrients, stay away from gluten, and you'll do okay. But you can't continue to eat spaghetti and flour tortillas. If you're going to drink beer, it's got to be rice beer made in Japan, China, or Australia makes a wonderful, and New Zealand makes a wonderful rice beer also. I think we may even have 1 or 2 companies that make it here in the U.S. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
All right, let's head to Arizona. And Peggy, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Well, Peggy, you're on the air. How can we help you?
Oh, about a year ago, I started having warts on my back. I'm overrun with them now, and I don't know what to take to get rid of them. I don't want to cut and burn because they say they just grow back.
Okay. Well, the first thing you have to appreciate that warts are caused by viruses. Okay.
They're what?
And
okay.
They're caused by viruses.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. So you're either sleeping with somebody who's got wart viruses or a dog that has wart viruses.
Don't have a dog. No.
Are you a cosmetologist or a hairdresser?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're getting warts from somebody. Okay. So, at any rate, how much do you weigh and how old are you?
I'm 83. I weigh 145.
Okay.
And I live alone. I have for 30 years.
Okay. Any other issues? Any high blood pressure, diabetes, skin problems, bowel problems?
No. I just have arthritis in my knees. That's all. But I still get around.
Okay. And you weigh how much?
145.
145 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Charmaine, what are you going to do for our 83-year-old friend here, Peggy? She's got warts all over her back. She's got arthritis, and she weighs 145 pounds.
Well, I would get around one healthy bone and joint pack, but I would add the vitamin D3 for absorption. I would add the MSM and some Pro Joint. That would help her. And I would also take some killer biotic internally, and I would put colloidal silver on them externally. And she could also, she could also take some Oxybody cherry berry. That would probably help get rid of them also.
Yeah, help the immune system. Yeah, but I would be really aggressive and serious about the colloidal silver on the warts, say 6 times a day, and then in between the colloidal silver, I would use the hand sanitizer on top of the warts 6 times a day. I got to go after that because it's telling her she's got pre-existing conditions here that set her up for the pandemic virus. She's 83 years old, and people in her age group, I'm 82, okay, and so you got to watch it. And you're in your 70s, and so you got to watch it. So you don't want to be getting that pandemic virus at this age. And the fact that these warts are running crazy, they're caused. If they're truly warts, they're caused by a virus, and so you got to kill the virus. Get your inside immune system up. Stay away from the gluten, no wheat, butter, and oats. Get your 90 essential nutrients and add the things that Shar said. And then call us every couple of weeks and let us know how your warts are doing. Have somebody count them. Take a picture of them and, email them to us to the Longevity program. Okay. Let's see here. Doug, let's go to callers.
Do you think it would help for her to wash her stuff in the HydroClean product?
It cannot hurt. To wash her clothes and that kind of stuff, and her sheets and things. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's head to Connecticut. And Sophia, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Sophia, you're on the air.
Hi, good day, Dr. Wallach.
Hi.
I have a brother. He developed some polyps in his nostrils. He says he has extremely bad allergies. I think he said he had them 10 years ago, and they've returned, and he's scheduled to do it.
How old is he? How old is he?
He's about 51.
Okay, and then how much does he weigh, you think?
Well, he's a vegetarian. He has been for over 25 years.
I don't care. How much does he weigh?
About 150? Or less, 140?
Okay, so between 140 and 150. Okay. But as a vegetarian, the odds are he's eating wheat, bread, around oats. He's got to give that up. He needs to eat like a Asian vegetarian, okay? He needs to eat like somebody from Okinawa or Hawaii. He needs to eat 3 sisters, okay? We're talking about maize, a.k.a. corn, beans, and squash. He needs to eat rice. And when he gets done eating rice, he needs sweet potatoes. When he gets done eating sweet potatoes, he needs to eat more rice. And then what would you give him as a supplement program, Charmaine, to support his immune system and stop some of the inflammation in his nasal passages?
Well, I'd get him on a healthy brain and heart pack, at least 1, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, he needs, EFAs will help him with his breathing and stuff, definitely. Yeah. And
what about colloidal
gluten-free.
silver? Yeah.
Yeah, that'll clean him out.
Yeah, I mean, he could tilt his head back and put the colloidal silver. There's no alcohol in it, so it won't burn, but it has an anti-inflammatory property as well as it kills in case there's any bugs in there, viruses, yeast, bacteria, anything like that, to kill the bugs. And so that's why I use it at least 4 times a day, half hour before each meal and half hour before bed, the colloidal silver, plus all the hand sanitizer. And like you say, I use Killer Biotic, I use Cell Shield RTQ, I use the Fucoid Z, I use the Ocean's Gold. People say, you must be crazy, Wallach. Well, I take over 100 different pills, tablets, and capsules twice a day. I take, the liquids, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. I take that liquid mix twice a day. I take 2 of the 12-ounce cans of Rebound twice a day. And I use all this other stuff, and I have to pay for it. The company doesn't give it to me for free. I buy all this stuff out of my own pocket, okay? And so the company doesn't give me anything for free. I have to pay for everything. But because, of my age, I have been gluten-free for 73 years now. I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients for 73 years. I started when I was 9 years old by taking the 90 essential nutrients, and that whole story, of course, is in the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And you have to be really proactive about this. You have to be, next to God, you have to be the person that's going to take the best care of yourself. You get run over by a truck and you're bleeding internally, you got to go to the emergency room. And when it comes to defending yourself against pandemic viruses and that kind of stuff, you need to get rid of the bad foods, take the 90 essential nutrients, do all the hand sanitizing, use our colloidal silver, our hand sanitizers, wear a mask, do the distancing, do all that kind of stuff. But remember, what did we get for just hand sanitizing and distancing and wearing a mask? 25 million infections, 424,000 dead. 424,000 dead. That's 24,000 more dead than in Arlington Cemetery, which is all of our military dead since the Civil War up to now. I mean, this is crazy. That's what we got for distancing and washing our hands, was 25 million infections and 424,000 dead. Not a very good result. And so somebody needs to pay for that. And, of course, there's only one guy who came out and Doug has a recording of this guy, Fauci, saying, this pandemic is a nothing. The pandemic is a nothing. Just wear a mask, wash your hands, and separate, and everybody be fine. Well, 12 months later, we got 424,000 dead and 25 million infections. That doesn't sound too good.
You're listening to Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network with your host, Dr. Joel Wallach.
If you're looking for a quality multivitamin and mineral product, grab yourself Youngevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine, a blend of plant-derived minerals combined with vitamins, amino acids, and other beneficial nutrients. This all-natural product contains no starch, wheat, or yeast, with no artificial sweeteners or preservatives, and it's glycemic friendly. Each scoop of the NutriCrystals contain equal amounts of all the nutrients. It starts out as a liquid, then is freeze-dried to ensure each scoop has the same nutrients as the last scoop. So if you want to get your hands on a quality nutritional supplement designed to give the body the raw materials it needs to rebuild, Youngevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine is available in 1-pound canisters and also in 30-count on-the-go stick packs. Contact your local Youngevity associate and get this great multivitamin and mineral product, and don't forget to ask about the home-based business opportunity.
Hey, if you're like me, your life is hectic. You don't know where you're going to be next. Between kids and family and in-laws and work and traffic and everything else that's driving me crazy right now, my life is insane. I bet your life's insane as well. When do we have time to get every single nutrient we need to be healthy? When? Well, I've got a tip for you. Take a product called Pollen Burst. It's so simple, even I can do it. All you have to do is open the package, pour it in water, mix it up, and bam, you're ready to go. It tastes great. It's not one of those medicine tasting things. It tastes great, low in calories, helps curb your appetite, gives you natural energy that doesn't let you crash, gives you your vitamins, minerals, nutrients, everything from the plant world. And I got to tell you, for a busy person like me or a busy person like you, we need simple, we need good. Pollen Burst is your answer. Tastes great. Try it, and you'll feel better.
Call your local longevity distributor to find out how Pollen Burst can make you feel better. And don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
If weight loss is your goal, try Youngevity's Slender FX Keto Caramel Weight Management Bars and Shake. Designed to enhance any low-carbohydrate or low-glycemic diet by supplying the energizing and filling protein dieters need without unhealthy excess carbs, a keto diet known for its low-carb intake, pushing the body to produce ketones from fat. Used as energy, a state known as ketosis, by using fat, not carbohydrates, as fuel in this metabolic state. A keto diet supports and promotes healthy weight management. For optimal health, with this system, you should be able to lose 1 to 2 pounds each day. So, what are you waiting for? Start helping people today with your own home-based business.
We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Longevity 95 Crusade. And Doug, let's go to callers or emails.
All right, let's head to Wisconsin. And Sheila, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Sheila. You're on the air. How can we help you? Hi.
Well, last month, the week before Christmas, that whole week I was having migraine symptoms and/or the headaches. And then on Saturday, I had numbness in the first 3 fingers on my left hand. So I called the nurse hotline. They told me to go to the ER. After waiting 5 hours, they started testing me, and they found out I had 2 small strokes. And then they sent me home with a heart monitor, and I got a call then saying that they thought I had AFib.
Okay, how much do you weigh? Okay, stop there, because we only have moments.
113 pounds.
Okay, do you have any other skin issues? You're 70?
72 years old. 72,
okay.
And I have seborrheic keratosis.
Okay, and do you have any bowel problems? Do you have any bowel problems like constipation, diarrhea, celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome?
I have some bowel problems because of a rectocele and a cystocele from childbirth.
Okay, stop. Okay, Charmaine, what are you going to do here for Sheila? Okay, she's got AFib, atrial fibrillation. She's had a headache. She's had, quote, 2 strokes, they believe. She's got skin problems, keratosis. Okay, and she has a history of some bowel problems. What's going on here?
She's got a gluten intolerance, and she also has osteoporosis of the skull for sure.
Yeah, you get an A+. What are we going to do for her? She's 113 pounds. What does she need to do diet-wise and supplement-wise? Got to go quick.
Well, most of her problems are basically bone structure, so I would suggest she gets on a healthy bone and joint pack and adds the MSM to it, Ultimate Daily Classic for circulation, and vitamin D3 for absorption. And
I'd throw in a bottle of our selenium also.
Yeah.
Do you have any gray hair? Sheila?
Not very much.
But the answer is yes. Okay, stop. The answer is yes. I don't care if it's 1 hair or 50. Okay, the answer is yes. When you say not very much, do you have any varicose veins or spider veins?
No, spider veins ever since I was a kid.
Okay, all right. So she needs to have at least she needs our bottle of selenium, not selenium from Walgreens. Our selenium has the cofactors in it. When you have gray hair, white hair, silver hair, and you have varicose veins or spider veins, it tells you there's one particular nutrient missing. And, of course, she has AFib, so what does she need? In addition,
she needs MSM. I think I said
yep,
that.
MSM. Yeah, MSM. Take 3 of those twice a day, as 1 bottle a month. And I'd go for the big hammer instead of the healthy bone and joint pack. I'd go with a healthy brain and heart pack and throw in all the other things you've said. And then call us every 2 weeks, Sheila, because you're going to have a great story, but you're going to need to be drop dead free of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, and oats, so you can maximize absorption. And, people our age, like Shar and you and me, you've got to give your body what it needs, and you've got to be able to absorb it. So you can't even say the word gluten. You can't even say the word wheat, butter, and oats. There are no such things as gluten-free oats. When people talk about gluten-free oats, I track that down. Gluten-free oats have 20% of the gluten in it that wheat has. Well, it's like saying, well, my doctor says it's safe to shoot myself in the head with a 22, but don't shoot myself in the head with a 25. How dumb is that? Well, no gluten. Are you willing to throw away your life because you can't give up oats for breakfast? Okay. What you want to be doing is eating rice. I've been eating rice for breakfast for 73 years. Okay. Wild rice, brown rice, red rice, yellow rice, no fried rice. But you got to get rid of the bad stuff and live like the Ojibwe Indians and live like the Hawaiians and the Okinawans, okay, and rice and sweet potatoes and the 3 sisters, maize, beans, and squash, all the vegetables you want, okay, and that's why we have all these various programs with all these different vegetable extracts and this, that, and the other to kind of help people who think they can get away without eating those things, and so we're sneaking them in you by giving you the supplements. Well, thank you, everybody. Great questions today. Thank you so much, Charmaine. Superlative job as usual. Thank you, Doug. Superlative job as usual. God bless each and every one of you. God bless our troops. God bless our Navy SEALs. God bless the American flag. God bless our national anthem. And God bless America.
Hi, everyone. It's time to bathe in PureWorks foam and protect yourself from today's viruses and other nasties. Who needs that? Andy Anderson here to remind you that the way to fight this is with patented PureWorks. This unique product is gentle on skin but kills influenza A and B, along with HIV, hepatitis B and C, and MRSA. Yeah, MRSA. Don't touch a doorknob, visit a hospital, or see the doctor without PureWorks on. That's how you commonly become infected. Listen up. Protect yourself by putting this on your hands and face, like aftershave, even around your nose. The killing power of alcohol in your usual antibacterial lotion only lasts a few seconds. There's absolutely no alcohol in PureWorks, which lasts 2 to 3 hours. Ladies, you'll love how soft your hands feel. Don't forget to reapply after washing your hands. And men and women like the light, faint fragrance. Phyllis and I like the foam, but you can also get spray or lotion. By the way, it's a great deodorant. Contact your Youngevity business associate.
AM 1340, KOMY, La Selva Beach, Watsonville, Santa Cruz. A service of ZBS.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The White House is keeping its distance from the upcoming impeachment trial in the Senate. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Now that House Democrats have delivered the impeachment case against Donald Trump to the Senate, President Biden hopes the trial won't negatively affect his top legislative priorities, namely a COVID relief bill.
He hopes, and I'll quote him here, the Senate leadership will find a way to deal with their constitutional responsibilities on impeachment while also working on the other urgent business of the nation.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president will not interfere with the Senate's handling of the impeachment trial. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Janet Yellen has been sworn in as the nation's 78th Treasury Secretary and the first woman to hold the office. She was sworn in today by Vice President Kamala Harris. Also at townhall.com, a major winter storm dropping more than a foot of snow on parts of Nebraska and Iowa, disrupting traffic and shuttering some schools. National Weather Service meteorologist Taylor Nicolason says parts of Nebraska will see some additional snow, but nothing like what happened yesterday.
We're going to see a little bit of some additional snow here, but the primary impacts of that storm are off to the east now. They're working their way through Iowa and headed towards Chicago, and we're in much better shape. We're going to get this little secondary aftershock here tonight and, maybe get an inch of snow.
Meanwhile, one person dead after a tornado tore through an Alabama city north of Birmingham, leaving that area with significant damage. The National Weather Service in Birmingham says officials evaluating the damage to determine the strength of the twister, which hit the Fultondale area of Jefferson County. There were numerous injuries. U.S. consumer confidence posting a gain in January. The Conference Board reporting that its Consumer Confidence Index increased to 89.3. That was a rebound from December. More at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discount it to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
With a Democratic sweep officially in place, we are now at the mercy of tax and spend economics. Get ready for runaway national debt pushing the further devaluation of the dollar. So if you haven't invested in gold, now is the time to protect your savings. Birch Gold Group is the premier precious metals IRA company in America. With an A+ BBB rating and thousands of satisfied customers, Birch Gold can help you move an eligible IRA or 401k into an IRA backed by gold. Go to birchgold.com/radio for your free information kit. That's birchgold.com/radio.
Britain set to announce changes to its quarantine rules that could see anyone arriving in that country having to spend 10 days in a hotel, and that's at their own expense. Correspondent Charles de Ledesma has more in this report.
The government has been reviewing its quarantine policies amid concerns over new coronavirus variants. Whether the changes will be universal and apply to everyone arriving, including British citizens, or just to those arriving from high-risk COVID-19 countries remains unclear. Vaccines Minister Nadhim Sa'awi says as we vaccinate more of the adult population, if there are new variants from places like South Africa or Brazil, we need to be very careful. Hotel quarantine is common policy in a number of countries, including New Zealand and Australia. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. American Express says its fourth quarter net income fell 15% to $1.44 billion as the pandemic continued to impact its bottom line.
On a per-share basis, the New York-based company said it had a net income of $1.76, down from $2.03 per share a year earlier. The results surpassed Wall Street expectations. The average estimate of 9 analysts surveyed by Zacks Investment Research was for earnings of $1.26 per share.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Internet users across the Northeast U.S. reporting widespread outages today. Verizon says it was working on a problem with its Fios service throughout the Northeast corridor. In a statement about 90 minutes after the outage was reported, the company said that some service had been restored. Verizon had previously reported a fiber cut in Brooklyn, although it's not clear if that issue was responsible for the entire outage. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Although it's not clear if that issue was responsible for the entire outage. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
KSCO News Talk time is 1:05. I'm Sam Clinton with your King of the Hill traffic and weather. Let's get to Highway 17. Right now, up and over the summit, it is accident-free and moving at the limit. Highway 9 is clear. There's quite a bit of movement on Highway 9, but still no accidents to report at this time. As people move around getting ready to hunker down for a couple of days of storm, and also possible evacuation. You'll find a lot more people out on the roadways today trying to get some things done. However, Highway 1 right now from the Fishhook down to Monterey, that is
Hey, and welcome. This is the Ben Shapiro Show. A lot coming up for you this hour. Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. I protect my data with a VPN, so should you. Visit expressvpn.com/Ben. We begin with our COVID updates. Right now, COVID continues to spread across the country. If you look at the latest statistics, actually, COVID seems to be a little bit on the wane. That is true both in terms of infections and in terms of deaths. The high number of detected infections in the United States came around the first week of January. According to Worldometers, January 8th, we had about 308,000 diagnosed cases of COVID in the United States. Today, we are down to about half that, about 152,000 diagnosed cases of COVID in the United States. The same thing seems to be true of deaths. The high in deaths was, again, right around that middle of January, January 12th, January 11th, January 8th. You're talking about 4,000 deaths a day. Now, we are dropping slightly, not hugely, but slightly, down to about 3,500, 3,400 deaths a day. The real worry right now when it comes to COVID is the possibility of new variants. There are a bunch of variants that apparently are already present in the United States. We are trying to shut down travel from South Africa, for example. This is something Joe Biden has done, President Biden. He's also attempting to shut down travel from places like Brazil. The reality is these variants are probably already in the United States because the United States is so open to travel. We are not New Zealand. We didn't shut off our travel because we are, in fact, the largest economy on the face of the earth with lots and lots of international travel. We are not a tiny island in the middle of nowhere with about 7 citizens and some sheep. So anybody who tries to compare how New Zealand handled the pandemic with how the United States handled the pandemic is really fooling themselves. And again, just as a general rule, when we talk about which countries have handled the pandemic worst versus which countries have handled the pandemic the best, when people say the United States has handled the pandemic worse than any other country, that is just not true. In terms of deaths per million population, the United States is not, in fact, at the top of the list. The United States currently ranks about 11th on that list, behind countries like Belgium and Slovenia and Czechia and the UK and Italy. The United States ranks just above places like Bulgaria, Hungary, Spain, and Peru. Right, so we will see how things progress because Mexico is also getting hit really hard. They are rising on the list pretty quickly. Okay, all of which is to say that nobody has a wonderful handle on COVID, and nobody is going to have a wonderful handle on COVID until the vaccinations become prevalent enough that they are able to overtake the virus. And that is the problem with these variants. So what we are finding is that the vaccines apparently are still effective on the various COVID variants, but those variants are also significantly more transmissible, even more transmissible than the original virus itself. And that, of course, was the real danger of the virus. The virus was more deadly than the flu. We're still figuring out whether it was 3 times more deadly than the flu or 5 times more deadly than the flu, and it really did vary widely by age. But when it comes to the transmissibility, that was the major difference between COVID and the flu, right? Even greater than the problem of the deadliness of the disease was the fact that it was spreading so fast amongst a huge percentage of the population. Well, scientists are now worried that these variants are even more transmissible. Caitlin Rivers, epidemiologist at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Health, said, "We're definitely on a downward slope. I'm worried the new variants will throw us a curveball in late February or March, which is why it is very, very important that we ramp up the vaccine distribution as soon as humanly possible, like as in right now." Nationwide, according to the New York Times a couple days ago, new coronavirus cases have fallen 21% in the last 2 weeks, according to a New York Times database. Some experts have suggested this could mark the start of a shifting course after nearly 4 months of ever-worsening case totals. This week, the University of Washington Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, which puts out a predictive model that is widely used for planning, including by some government agencies, released a projection saying new cases in the United States would decline steadily from now on. And so we have seen the worst of this thing, according to them. But with new viral variants surging in places like Britain, Ireland, South Africa, and northern Brazil, some people are suggesting that maybe we're seeing a lull before there is another wave of the virus, which, again, tranche out those vaccines as fast as humanly possible would be the goal here. We'll get to more of this in just 1 second. First, I've been talking about ExpressVPN on this show for months. So why haven't you just gotten a VPN yet? Well, everybody, I'll tell you this. There's never been a more important time to protect your digital rights. That's why I and thousands of my patriotic listeners choose to secure our online data by using ExpressVPN. Did you believe that a VPN isn't for you? Because who cares? I mean, you just go on the internet and it'll be fine. Well, anytime you go online, your ISP can see every site you are visiting. Are you confused how it works? ExpressVPN is an app for computers and smartphones that encrypts your network data and reroutes it through a secure server. That means you can use the internet more anonymously without having your activity tracked. Do you think VPNs are complex only for tech experts? Take it from me, they are not. With ExpressVPN, you launch the app, you tap one button, you are now protected. It is that simple. I trust ExpressVPN to protect my online data. You should do the same. Take back your privacy at expressvpn.com/Ben. Get 3 extra months free on that 1-year package. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Ben to get 3 extra months for free. Visit expressvpn.com/Ben right now. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Ben. Now, there is a conflicting message that has been coming out from the Biden administration. That conflicting message is that the United States has handled this horribly, and we need to centralize all power in the federal government. And 2 is we really don't know what the hell we're doing, right? This is the difficulty with actually running the government as opposed to sitting outside the government and complaining about the government. If you are Joe Biden and you've spent the last year and a half, or really a year, talking about how terrible the Trump administration is doing handling this virus, if you spent the last several months talking about how Trump is solely responsible for the vast spread across the land, he did say that during the campaign, right? Every death is on Donald Trump and all of this. Well, when you enter office, you better have a plan. There's only one problem. Your plan is not very good. It also happens to be the case that the media's reliance on Dr. Anthony Fauci as the font of all wisdom is wrongheaded. It was wrongheaded from the start. Fauci has made a bunch of mistakes along the way. Again, I don't think that Fauci is a badly motivated human being or anything. I do think that Anthony Fauci has gotten high on his own fumes a little bit. And this is a person who definitely believes his own press in a major way. By the way, the guy is pretty well rewarded. He is the highest paid employee in the entire United States federal government, apparently, according to Adam Andrzejewski over at Forbes.com. Apparently, he made $417,000 in 2019. That is the latest year for which federal salaries are available. That made him the highest paid out of all 4 million federal employees in the United States, which is pretty astonishing, actually. By the way, he has complained before about people saying that he is a rich guy and he makes too much money. He's like, no, I'm a public employee. Yeah, a public employee who's making in excess of what the president of the United States makes. So, I mean, there is that as well. In any case, Anthony Fauci was speaking to Davos, right? Davos is this international gathering of the hoi polloi. And here was Anthony Fauci explaining that America's big problem is that its response was politicized and that was destructive to a unified approach. Now, here's the problem with that. Again, to pretend that all of the United States has handled coronavirus similarly is just a lie. And when you say that the U.S. would have been better off with this giant top-down unified approach, I'm wondering what your evidence of that is. What would it look like, a top-down unified approach? Would it look like California, which is getting absolutely shellacked day after day today? In terms of number of deaths per day, California is far outpacing the rest of the United States. It is not close. Right now, California is experiencing in excess of 400 deaths a day, compared to second, by the way, is New York. Right, New York, you remember, got hit in the first wave. Well, now New York is having a second wave. They had 217 deaths yesterday, according to Worldometers. Florida, which has the same population as New York, but a lot more old people, is down to 153. Texas is right after that. So here is the bottom line. When you say that you want a centralized, unified approach, what you're ignoring is the fact that the sort of non-centralized approach of the United States has allowed for a bunch of states to handle this better than other states. People did not handle this all the same. And considering how poorly places like New York and California apparently have handled it, that's not a bad thing. Here was Fauci, though, talking about how we need more government centralization. By the way, if you think the government has done like an unbelievable job here, let me just point out the government essentially had a couple of jobs. One was to prevent the spread. They did not actually do that despite all of the lockdowns. 2 was that they were going to tranche out the vaccines. Okay, they've been really slow on that. For all the talk about Operation Warp Speed, it was the private industry. It was private industry that developed the vaccine, not the United States federal government. In any case, here is Anthony Fauci talking about how we need more centralization of control.
When public health issues become politically charged, like wearing a mask or not becomes a political statement, you cannot imagine how destructive that is to any unified public health message.
Okay, you know what's really amazing about all the masking talk, and it's all about Trump, and people didn't take masking seriously enough. The rates of mask usage in the United States are extraordinarily high, like much higher than parts of Europe. If you ask people to self-report whether they wear a mask most of the time or all of the time, in excess of 80% of Americans say they wear a mask most or all of the time when they are in crowded spaces. Okay, the problem here is not mask compliance. L.A. had mask mandates in place for months. I mean, literally starting about a month and a half after the beginning of the pandemic, when Fauci shifted on his original lie and said, oh, no, you should wear masks. Everybody in L.A. was wearing masks, and L.A. is just getting absolutely decimated right now. The big lie here, which is that if you had just listened to the public health experts, and now if you listen more to the public health experts and you listen even more to the public health experts, we'll just keep doubling down on this, that would have fixed everything. If we had listened to Anthony Fauci, nobody would have worn a mask at the beginning, and If we had listened to Anthony Fauci, then we never would have opened the schools. And if we had listened to Anthony Fauci, we would have thought herd immunity was kicking in at 70%. I mean, I'm sorry, but the idea that everybody is wrong for not listening to me is it's true on all sides of the aisle when it comes to politics, but it's ugly. And the reality is people aren't going to listen to you. And you're just going to have to deal with that. Because in a free country, that is how things work. The kind of bizarre longing for a top-down dictatorial mindset when it comes to this stuff is really weird. It's, I think, what underlies so much of the media's hatred of Florida. I'm looking at the statistics right now in terms of deaths per million in the United States, deaths per million by state. Where do you think Florida ranks? If you looked at just the media coverage, where would you think that Florida ranks in terms of deaths per million population in the United States? You'd probably think that it ranks in the top 2, maybe the top 10, maybe the top 20, maybe the top 25. Florida ranks 26th in America in terms of deaths per million. But if you actually look at how the media covers it, that's because DeSantis has taken a decentralized approach. So it seems almost as though when it comes to how so many members of the public health establishment and Democrats tend to think of public health, they think of public health in the same way they think of government, generally, which is government is always the solution. Centralized government is always the solution. And if it fails, it's because we need to centralize harder. That is the only way that we are going to be able to overcome the pandemic. Okay, so our public health officials, they just keep saying, why don't you listen to us? Why don't you listen to us more? Why don't you listen to us more? Maybe because you've been wrong 1,000 times. Speaking of public health officials who have been wrong 1,000 times, here's Anthony Fauci walking back his original assessment, which is that 100 million people were going to be vaccinated in the first 100 days of the Biden administration. Here he was on Sunday walking that back and being like, no, what I actually meant is that we will be tranching out 100 million vaccine shots. Remember, it takes 2 to fully vaccinate somebody. So there's a rather large, he was off by a factor of 50% on his original estimate here. Here is the world's greatest doctor, Anthony Fauci.
Let me clarify that because there was a little bit of a misunderstanding. What we're talking about is 100 million shots in individuals. So shots, as in other words, when you get down to, let's say, a certain part of the 100 days, at the end of 100 days, you're going to have some people who will have gotten both shots and some will still be on their first shots. What the president is saying, 100 million shots in the arms of people within 100 days.
Now, weird, because like a week ago, Joe Biden was saying it was going to be 100 million people vaccinated within 100 days. Okay, so really, well done, everybody. Everybody's done an amazing job here. We'll get to more of this in just 1 second. First, investors, how about a 10% steady real estate-backed monthly cash flow? Have you thought about the only one true supply-constrained asset, real estate? Intelligent, savvy investors need to check out NRIA. NRIA is one of the nation's top specialists and offers 10% annualized monthly payouts with bonuses targeted to 21%. With NRIA, you could see a 10% return on monthly payments with bonuses. You can even use your 401k or IRA to invest. NRIA's 15-year track record and $1.2 billion in new construction development backs you. Learn how you can invest in this hard asset real estate cash flow fund today. Receive 10% annualized monthly payouts with bonuses. Every smart investor should consider it. Call now, 800-700-5483. That's 800-700-5483, or visit NRIA.net. An offer to buy or sell any security is only made by private placement memorandum. Read it first. See us at NRIA.net. Coming up, it turns out that our wonderful, wonderful government advocates, well, they have only created the worst poverty rate in 50 years. This is the Ben Shapiro Show.
Hi, I'm Albert Pujols, first baseman for the Los Angeles Angels.
And I'm Deidre Pujols. We need your help to strike out slavery. Today, millions of people are caught in this nightmare of violence, fraud, and coercion. Human trafficking is happening in our communities and around the world, and we need to act right now.
So we are sending out this SOS, a call for your help in the fight for freedom.
Please join us by visiting strikeoutslavery.com.
Furnished by the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. Call 800-379-9550. 800-379-9550.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs. Call Civic Tax Relief for free information now. Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs you qualify for free. Just call 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report, summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Welcome back. This is the Ben Shapiro Show. So it turns out that all the people who have been advocating centralized government control, one of the outcomes of centralized government control is absolutely destroying the American economy. And meanwhile, it turns out that that centralized government policy has been the greatest driver of poverty in half a century. According to Bloomberg, the end of 2020 brought the sharpest rise in U.S. poverty rate since the 1960s. Economists Bruce Meyer from the University of Chicago and James Sullivan from the University of Notre Dame found that the poverty rate increased by 2.4 percentage points during the latter half of 2020 as the U.S. continued to suffer the economic impacts from COVID-19. That percentage point rise is nearly double the largest annual increase in poverty since the 1960s. This means an additional 8 million people nationwide are now considered poor. Moreover, the poverty rate for black Americans is estimated to have jumped by 5.4 percentage points, or by 2.4 million individuals. The scholars' findings put the rate at 11.8% in December. While poverty is down from readings of more than 15% a decade earlier, the new estimates suggest the annual Census Bureau tally due in September will be higher than the last official pre-pandemic level of 10.5% in 2019. So the poverty rate has absolutely skyrocketed. We have also seen a massive, massive amount of drug overdose increases, a massive increase in suicide. The number of young Americans who are going to die of causes other than COVID-19 during this period may, at the end of the day, actually outpace the number of young Americans, meaning Americans under the age of 40, who actually die from COVID. Okay, the overdose figures are really, really brutal. Okay, so there is that. So our experts basically locked down the entire economy, created the sharpest rise in the poverty rate in 50 years, made the death rate for young Americans much higher than it otherwise would have been, instead of simply saying, okay, everybody who's the age of 65, we need to protect those people, and everybody else needs to go out and get back to work as soon as humanly possible with the protections that are available, which was always the best policy. But anybody who pursued that policy was ripped up and down because we need, of course, more centralized control. The best governor in America, supposedly, was going to be was Gavin Newsom in California, Andrew Cuomo in New York, Phil Murphy in New Jersey, everybody who locked down the hardest. Everyone who locked down super duper duper hard, these were the best governors in the world, and we need more centralized control just like that. That is definitely going to fix what ails the United States of America. Really, I mean, this is what they are calling for, which is, frankly, kind of astonishing. Joe Biden has now shifted his tune on all of this. It turns out that, again, when you sit outside the government and you're campaigning, it is very easy to talk about how what we need is more centralized government control. As soon as Joe Biden is actually in charge, as soon as he is president, then it's like, you know what, I'm going to run headlong from responsibility for any of this. I'm going to stand over here and didn't remember that time I told you guys that this was going to be really rough and really bad? Now give me credit for being honest with you. Okay, except for how you blamed every COVID death on Donald Trump. If you blame every COVID death on Donald Trump, that suggests the person who's the president of the United States is now responsible for what happens with COVID once they become the head of the executive branch. Here is Joe Biden running headlong from that responsibility, saying, "Oh, you know what? What I actually meant, it's going to take a lot of time for us to crush the pandemic. Oh, that's what I meant."
Well, I'm going to shut down the virus, but I never said I'd do it in 2 months. I said it took a long time to get here. It's going to take a long time to beat it. And so we have millions of people out there who have the virus. We're just, for the first day, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I've been doing other things this morning, speaking with foreign leaders, but one of the things I think this is one of the first days that the numbers actually come down, the number of deaths and the number on a daily basis and the number of hospitalizations, et cetera. It's going to take time. It's going to take a heck of a lot of time.
Oh, well, I mean, why don't you set those expectations below the floor? I also love how he's taking credit for the numbers coming down. He's been in office it is now January 26th. He's been in office for 6 days. So he wants it both ways. On the one hand, I'm not responsible for anything that is happening. On the other hand, I'm responsible for all the deaths coming down. Yeah, we'll see how this works out for him. Meanwhile, Biden has revised his estimate. Remember, he kept saying that he wanted to do 1 million shots a day. It turns out that at the time, we were doing 1.1 million shots a day. So he's actually talking about reducing the number of shots every day. And he's like, look how brave I am. Look, I have a plan. Come on, man. Come on. And if you asked about it, come on, man. And well, now he's revised, and once again. And he says, actually, we're going to be ramping this thing up to 1.5 million shots a day. Now, frankly, that shouldn't be particularly difficult. The reality is we are currently doing 1.3 million shots a day. In any case, here was Joe Biden now revising his estimate up.
I promised that we would get at least 100 million vaccinations. That's not people, because sometimes you need more than one shot, the vaccination. But 100 million shots in people's arms of the vaccine. I think with the grace of God and the goodwill of the neighbor and the creek not rising, as the old saying goes, I think we may be able to get that to 1.5 million a day rather than 1 million a day. But we have to meet that goal of 1 million a day.
Okay, again, he keeps saying 1 million a day. We're already doing 1 million a day, dude. Already. We were before he took office. And then Biden says he's asked, okay, so when is everyone who wants a vaccine going to be able to get a vaccine? And he's like, well, how about like sometime this spring? Oh, that's helpful. Okay, so honestly, I have a fairly large personal stake in this particular question. I have two parents who are both right about to turn 65. So they are just under the age cutoff. I am desperate to get them the vaccine. I would love to get them the vaccine. They are concerned about COVID. They should be concerned about COVID. They're not in the highest risk bracket. And again, for people who are otherwise healthy and are 64 years old, the risk of COVID is not, 100 out of 1,000 are going to die. It's more like 4 out of 1,000, 3 out of 1,000 are going to die. But those are not stats you want to take anyway. So I would love to get my parents the vaccine, like as soon as humanly possible. So I actually have a personal stake, like millions and millions and millions of Americans do, in making sure that we can get the vaccine as soon as possible. So he has asked, okay, so when will anyone who wants the vaccine be able to get the vaccine? And he's like, well, sometime. Sometime. Appreciate it. Well, I feel the confidence rising. Well, I feel so much better about things now. Here is Joe Biden taking control.
Or roughly when do you think anyone who wants one would be able to get it? Is it summer? Is it fall?
Oh, I know. I think it'll be this spring. I think we'll be able to do that this spring. But it's going to be a logistical challenge that exceeds anything we've ever tried in this country. But I think we can do that. I feel confident that by summer we're going to be well on our way to heading toward herd immunity and increasing the access for people who aren't on the list, all the way going down to children.
Meanwhile, the captains of science, first of all, if you have young kids, there's a really good case to be made, especially if we have tranched out the vaccine to adults. If you have very young kids, there's a very solid case to be made. You shouldn't really bother getting your kid a vaccine. That's not an anti-vaccination point. That is just a point of fact, because children are not being gravely affected by this disease. Coming up, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, he's been talking about how the science guides him. There's only one problem. Clearly it does not. This is the Ben Shapiro Show.
The strength of our country hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together in our toughest times. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. We are the American Legion, Veterans Strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
Hey, listen to this. Last Tuesday, I was robbed blind. A thief broke my car window, took my laptop, and ran off. Or at least that's what would have happened if I didn't have Vivint. Instead, here's what really happened. Thief walked up, my Vivint camera detected him, scared him, and he ran away. My Vivint security system doesn't just record crime, it actually prevents it with a flashing red light and a whistle. And the best part is I can check in on my home from anywhere right from my phone. Whether I'm at the gym or the office, thanks to Vivint, all is well. If you want a system professionally installed, fit with the best cameras and 24/7 monitoring, call Vivint today. 833-420-4070 for a free quote and lock-in free installation and a free month of monitoring service. Vivint, smart security professionally installed. Call 833-420-4070 to get started today. Offer valid for new customers only. System purchase requires monthly service agreement and equipment package. Speak to a Vivint representative today for complete equipment, services, and financing details. Visit Vivint.com for licensing information. Other terms and conditions may apply.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. Call 800-379-9550. 800-379-9550.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you: printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908. Don't wait. Call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
Many children around the world don't receive Valentine's Day cards, and they need encouragement now more than ever. To learn more how you can choose your very own Valentine's Day card and send a note to a child, visit SaveTheChildren.org/share the love. That's SaveTheChildren.org/share the love. Furnished by Save the Children.
Welcome back. This is the Ben Shapiro Show. So California is reopening. Amazing. Like 5 minutes after Joe Biden took office. Who could have predicted such a thing? Gavin Newsom has now canceled California's stay-at-home orders across the state. So that will allow restaurants and businesses in some counties to reopen outdoor dining and other services. Now, there was never any scientific data to back the closing of outdoor dining in the first place. There's zero data that suggests that outdoor dining is a chief vector of COVID transmission. But now, magically, the week after Joe Biden takes office, Gavin Newsom is now going to redo all of the regulations in California surrounding COVID. How strange. How strange. I mean, like, wow. Must be that the science is dictating that, right? There's only one problem. The science is absolutely not dictating that. He lifted California's emergency stay, this is according to Yanon Weiss, who's been following this stuff closely. He lifted California's emergency stay-at-home orders with 50% less, 50% fewer ICU beds available now than the day he implemented it. Okay, so literally the day he implemented it, there were a certain number of ICU beds available, pretty high number of ICU beds available, and he implemented the curfew and indoor dining and all the rest of it. We now have like a much, much higher percentage of California's ICUs filled by COVID-positive cases, and now he's like, you know what? Going to reopen. Almost as though the science isn't dictating this. The politics is dictating this. But that's always the case. Okay, when it comes to COVID policy, so much of it is driven by politics. So much of it. And the most obvious example of this, of course, is the teachers' unions. So teachers' unions are basically now saying they just don't want to teach ever again. Now, for my money, I'm fine with that. Seriously. I hope everybody homeschools. I hope everybody pulls their kids out of schools, puts them in parochial schools, puts them in private schools. Like, take the money out of the public school system. Take these teachers' unions at their words. Right? They don't want to teach? Fine. I don't want you teaching my kids because I think that you guys are basically garbage at it generally anyway. I think that the teachers' unions protect the worst teachers at the expense of the best teachers. I think that you value seniority over quality in your teachers. I think that you create ridiculous educational missions that have very little to do with the education of the American public school child. So you guys don't want to come into school? Good news. Millions and millions of Americans have realized over the past year they're not sure they want you teaching their kids. But if you are a member of the Democratic Party and your big push is that public education done by teachers' unions is one of the jewels of the American system, then wouldn't you stand up to the teachers' unions at this point and say, you know, guys, you really should go back to work? There's a new study out. That new study suggests that there really is no elevated risk for teachers above the general population. That, of course, is not a shock at all. We've known this for quite a while, that there really is no elevated public risk in terms of teachers over the general population. In fact, you would imagine they're probably at less risk generally, especially if they're teaching young kids. Young kids are not transmitting this disease in the same way that older children are. It also happens to be the case that younger teachers, right, if you're a 22-year-old teacher, for second graders, your level of risk is really, really minimal. It's much lower than you going to a bar that same night. But in a bunch of different states, we've got bars that are open and schools that are closed, which is madness. According to The Hill, the Chicago's teachers union voted to defy Chicago public schools' reopening plans for teachers and staff due to coronavirus concerns, the union announced on Sunday. The teachers union, for the nation's third largest school district, decided to allow all educators to conduct work remotely starting on Monday, the day kindergarten through 8th grade staff were expected to return in person. So these are specifically teachers for young kids. The CTU reported 86% of its 25,000 members participated in the electronic vote on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 71% of voting members decided to deny the district's current plan to come back to in-person learning. A CTU release said it means the overwhelming majority of you have chosen safety. CPS did everything possible to divide us by instilling fear through threats of retaliation. You still chose unity, solidarity, and to collectively act as one. By the way, this just demonstrates, once again, public sector unions are a blight on the American political system. Public sector unions which bargain collectively against the taxpayer and pay off the politicians to bargain on their own behalf. It's one of the most corrupt deals in all of American politics, maybe the most corrupt deal. Essentially, you now have unions that pay to get politicians elected. They then negotiate with the politicians against the taxpayer, and the politicians use the union money in order to get reelected. It's truly impressive legal grift. The Chicago Sun-Times labeled the vote unusually close for CTU labor actions because 94% of voting members usually decide when to strike. The Chicago district's official sent a letter to families on Sunday saying the return date for teachers will be delayed until Wednesday to allow for more time for negotiations and to avoid risking disruption to student learning. Now, again, there's no science to back this. The science to suggest that these teachers are at risk and that they can't come back until X, Y, or Z, it's just nonsense. It's not true. In fact, there are serious questions as to whether this particular teacher's strike is legal under the regulations. But it's not just Chicago's teachers' unions. It's in Ohio as well. According to WTOL, The largest teachers' unions in the state are responding after Governor Mike DeWine announced 96% of public school districts in Ohio have signed a form committing to in-person learning by March 1st. The unions, including the Toledo Federation of Teachers, say in a joint statement that Governor DeWine is using vaccines as a bargaining chip to open schools by March 1st. The statement says teachers, students, families, and cities will face dire consequences if schools are pressured to reopen before it is safe to do so. Okay, it's just a lie. It's not true. Okay, so they're pushing that. New Jersey teachers, they say that they don't want to come back until every single student in these schools is tested. Again, that is nuts. First of all, the false positive rate on the tests alone would probably make it impossible to open the schools. But beyond that, are you insane? Okay, the children are not the chief vector of the transmission. There's more danger of you hanging out in the teachers' union with the other teachers than of you teaching the kids. More on that in a moment. First, if getting life insurance is on your to-do list for 2021, Policy Genius can help you cross it off with ease. Policy Genius makes it easy for you to compare more than 30 top insurers at once and save over 50% in the process. Plus, there's no hassle because their licensed experts work for you, not the insurance companies. Here's how it works. First, head on over to PolicyGenius.com. In minutes, you can work out how much coverage you need and compare quotes from top insurers to find your best price. Policy Genius will compare policies starting at as little as $1 a day. You might even be eligible to skip that in-person medical exam. Once you apply, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and the red tape. If you hit any speed bumps during the application process, they'll take care of everything for you. That kind of service has earned Policy Genius a 5-star rating across over 1,600 reviews on Trustpilot and Google. So, make this the year you finally cross life insurance off your to-do list. Get protection for your loved ones. Go to PolicyGenius.com and get started. You could save 50% or more by comparing quotes. Start the new year with one less thing to worry about. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice and quite important to get it right. Once again, head on over to PolicyGenius.com to get started. Okay, perhaps the greatest example of this insanity is members of the Washington Teachers Union claiming that reopening schools for in-person learning is an example of white supremacy, and saying that if we value the mental health of students, that is a form of white privilege. According to the Daily Wire, echoing comments made by the Chicago Teachers Union months ago that reopening schools for in-person instruction is both racist and sexist, the president of the Pasco Association of Educators, Scott Wilson, made a series of unhinged, controversial remarks during a Pasco school board meeting, according to our friend Jason Rantz over at KTTH. The comments were captured on video as the Board of Education conducts its meetings on Zoom amidst the coronavirus pandemic. This particular teachers union head compared the effort to reopen schools to the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Wilson said, there are decisions to be made. You stand on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol as people break down barriers and head to the doors. Do you follow? You stand at the governor's mansion. The crowd breaks down barriers to enter the grounds. Do you follow or do you choose a different way? We must not ignore the culture of white supremacy and white privilege. He said, we speak of equity. We speak of the care of students, yet we listen and attend to voices saying, reopen everything. I'm free to breathe, supporting white privilege. Okay, in reality, the people who are the most harmed by all of these stay-at-home orders have been children who are black and Hispanic, because disproportionately kids who are black and Hispanic go to public schools. And particularly their parents need them in the public schools so they can go work. Because in single-parent households, which are disproportionately in black and Hispanic families, if you can't drop your kid at school, how exactly are you going to go to work that day? And this is madness. So Joe Biden was asked about all of this, right? So Joe Biden gets asked about the teachers' unions and whether they should return to schools. And Joe Biden sidesteps the question. Because, again, it's amazing. You hear all the time about the corruption of money in politics. You heard this from the Bernie Sanders crew. Well, there's so much money in politics. It's so terrible. Also, I would love to receive a $100 million investment from the teachers' unions to go and door knock for me. I mean, it's incredible. They're explicitly bargaining against the interests of their own students. And then Joe Biden is out there defending them. I mean, it is a high-level form of corruption, right in plain sight. The fact that labor unions have this much power with our federal and state governments is nuts. It's nuts. And the fact that the National Labor Relations Act is so biased in favor of collective bargaining that would be considered collusion if it were done by employers. But as soon as it is done by employees, it is now considered not collusion, but something magical. The NLRA is a terrible piece of legislation. Okay, but put that aside. The very existence of public sector unions is, in most cases, a blight on the republic. But here is Joe Biden, this is just an example, refusing to condemn teachers' unions that are cutting directly. Here's Captain Science here. As kids are being put out of school all across the nation, again, even though we're reopening outdoor dining and we're reopening indoor dining, here's Joe Biden.
Do you believe, sir, that teachers should return to schools now?
I believe we should make school classrooms safe and secure for the students, for the teachers, and for the help that's in those schools maintaining the facilities. We need new ventilation systems in those schools. We need testing for people coming in and out of the classes. We need testing for teachers as well as students. And we need the capacity to know that, in fact, the circumstance in the school is safe and secure for everyone.
Okay, so basically, I'm just going to avoid all of this. By the way, my kids have been in school since the beginning of the year. No problem. Okay, my kids are, 2 of them under the age of 7 are in school, and there's been no problem. They've taken precautions like masking. They put up a little plexiglass on the tables. The teachers are there. The teachers have not been infected. But apparently, it's the end of the world. Again, the willingness of the media to overlook the insane corruption of keeping millions and millions, tens of millions of school kids at home so teachers' unions can sit at home and get rich. I mean, really, the unions are getting rich, not the people who are members of the unions themselves. It's super corrupt. How tied in is the Biden administration to these unions? So tied in that Randy Weingarten was originally considered a possibility for Secretary of Education, the head of the American Federation